Hello, good evening everyone. I'm Nasalishala Harriet, a student of BSN at Victoria University. Today we are going to look at medroxyprogesterone, which I prefer calling it Depo, provera. Yeah, it's Depo, provera, because it is easier for me to pronounce than the medroxyprogesterone. Yeah, so today we are going to look at the mechanism of action, how it provides the contraception, and also we shall look at the receptors of progesterone, the cellular level, and also briefly we shall talk about the exocytosis. Yeah, so here we go. Depo-provera. This Depo-provera, it's an injection, by the way. It is given as a single dose every after 3 months. It is a 1 ml in it's a 150 milligrams in 1 ml. Yeah, so it is given deep intramuscular at the upper arm, either right or left upper arm. Yeah, though some people prefer left upper arm, so it is given every after 3 months. When the woman feels ready to conceive, you can stop taking it or using it. This Depo-provera contains progestin. The progestin is the synthetic form of the natural progesterone. So this progestin, it suppresses the ovulation. That is how it hinders. That is how it hinders the that is how it provides the contraception. It suppresses the ovulation. Remember, this ovulation starts with the hormones produced by the brain, and that is the gonadotrophic releasing hormone, which triggers the anterior pituitary glands, with the anterior pituitary glands, it produces the follicle stimulating hormones. And those follicle stimulating hormones, they enable the growth of the follicles. Those follicles which enables the surge of the luteinizing hormone, which brings the ovulation. So therefore, this progestin, it prevents the luteinizing hormone surge, which leads to ovulation, hence no egg available for fertilization. So no egg available for fertilization. So how does it work? The mechanism of action. So this progestin, we are going to see it in 2 areas, that is the cervix and the uterus. So how does it work? It thickens the cervical mucus. Progestin makes the mucus around the cervix, which is produced by the cervical glands, more thicker. Therefore, the mucus acts as the physical barrier to prevent the spermatozoa in the semen from passing through the cervical os successfully, because it is thick. So the spermatozoa in the sperms, they cannot be passed through the cervical os, because of that thick mucus produced by around the cervix, So this one reduces the chances of sperms reaching the ovum, thus no fertilization taking place, because the sperms have not reached the ovum. Depo-provera again produces poor quality cervical mucus that is unavailable, that is unfavorable for the sperm movement and the penetration. So let's look at the changes in the endometrium. Remember, we said we are going to see the cervix and the endometrium, the changes there that hinders ovulation. Changes takes place there that hinders ovulation. So what happens in the endometrium? The endometrial layer, in the endometrial layer, progestin makes the inner lining of the uterus, which is the endometrium, to remain thin and less suitable for the implantation. How? This is done by the progestin mimics the natural pregnancy maintaining hormone, which is called the progesterone. Hence, progestin becomes highly concentrated in the blood. So when it becomes highly concentrated, it mimics the body, making it think that the progesterone is there. It makes it think that pregnancy took place. That pregnancy concentration, the concentration of progestin in the blood, makes the body think or assume that conception took place, thus inhibiting the menstrual cycle. So, how does this hormone work at the cellular level? Remember, we said that the progestin, it is the synthetic of progesterone. And when it is too much in the blood, it makes the body think that progesterone, which is the pregnancy maintaining hormone, it makes the body think that progesterone is there, because remember, this progestin is the chuan of progesterone. So how does it work at the cellular level? Progesterone receptors are located in the reproductive tissues of the body, and these reproductive tissues are the ovaries, breast, uterine, endometrium, and also in the brain and the nervous system as well. They are there. And these receptors are called the progesterone receptors, which is an intercellular steroid hormone receptor associated mainly with the cellular nucleus. So, progesterone is a lipid-soluble steroid hormone which can easily cross the phospholipid bilayer of the cell membrane. Hence, no need for receptors at the cellular surface. Therefore, the hormone binds to its specific receptor inside a targeted cell. It binds. How? When progesterone enters the cell, it crosses the plasma membrane of the cell easily, since it is a lipid-soluble steroid hormone. It crosses the plasma membrane easily. Then it binds specifically to a progesterone receptors inside that cell of the progesterone receptor, and the progesterone receptor complex is formed. Therefore, the receptor activation occurs. Regions and associated proteins, hence gene transcription is created, leading to the gene expression. And new proteins are produced that are responsible for progesterone physiological effects. When they enter into the receptors, we see that new proteins produced that are responsible for progesterone physiological effects. So let's briefly look at the exocytosis. What is exocytosis? Exocytosis is the process by which the substances are released from a cell. For example, of the substances that can be released by the cell to extracellular released environment. Examples of the cells that can be released by the cells to the extracellular environment are hormones, for example, insulin. Also neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin. The cell can also release the waste products of the cellular metabolism by exocytosis.